Fidelity, it got some points for me today. Got some points because they got their tax documents already out. So that's actually impressive.
All
Typically,
right.
financial institutions don't have their taxes until later, mid June, mid February. I mean, even late February. They got some points for me today.
And here we are,
What
we're
if I have
live.
an echo?
Hello,
Hey,
moneymakers, and welcome to Tea Time with RK. Today, I have a super special guest. I am so excited to have him. I have the neighborhood finance guy, Lawrence Gonzalez himself. Lawrence joined us at the Money Summit back in December, and now he's here tonight to have a different conversation and talk about his journey and some of the things that he's been up to since we last saw him. So let me bring Lawrence on and let's just start this conversation.
hey, everybody.
Hey, Lawrence. So first off, can I ask? I wanna know. I know that you are so open and honest about your current journey to financial freedom, and I'd love to hear where you are today and how that's going for you.
Well, today, that's like a tall order. I think last time we spoke was in December. It feels like a long time ago, especially now that I'm back in DC. It's a lot colder than it was in Florida, so I'm actually feeling that a little bit. But overall, I'm in a happy space. I'm back home. I love it, and financially, we're doing fairly well. Me and my wife are, newlyweds, so we're still kind of kicking it, learning about each other, and she cracks me up every day.
I love it. And congratulations again on the wedding and on the marriage. I hope everything's going really well and you guys are kind of settling in together. So on Tea Time, we talk a little bit about the entrepreneur journey. And so, Lawrence, on my part, I'm curious. You have the website, the Neighborhood Finance Guy. How are you looking to have this website also help you as kind of a side hustle, a different stream of income? What does that look like for you?
First and foremost, I think the website is for me. It's pretty much like a blog. It's like a place where I'm talking to, I guess, my own kids in the future, or grandkids, or whoever's in my family, so you can see what I was all about and how to get and really master wealth. So the website itself exists for everyone as well, because if you go in there, you read it, you grab some tips. I always have people give me feedback about what they've been working on, how they've been improving their own financial literacy and really building their wealth. As far as just really pushing the website a little bit further, this year we're gonna monetize it. So we're trying to get a little bit more e-commerce in there, try to get more ebooks to provide even more content to different people, and hopefully really push it a little bit further, because the problem is out there. A lot of people are struggling with money, and we're just trying to solve it.
I love that. And I love that you're kind of branching out and trying to see what else you can do to help people across the board. One of the things that we talked about back when we did the Money Summit was unemployment and kind of where people are. And one thing that's happened fairly recently is there's been some buzz about the student debt payoff, right? So potentially eliminating a high amount of student debt in a one fell swoop. I was on your website. I saw that you had an article about it.
I had an article about it. I have my words about it, but yeah, they're not getting rid of that one anytime soon. People are not happy. I think people are just gonna eventually realize that it's not gonna go away. It's like we said before. You're talking about 1.7 trillion dollars worth of student loans, but it's not just the student loan itself, because it doesn't exist in this bubble on its own, right? The government took on student loans, and as they took on student loans, they started using the revenue that people pay back in student loans to actually pay for other public goods. So when you say forgive student loans, you're basically saying all these other public goods that exist are just going to go away. So it's not an easy fix, and I don't think anybody's going to be too happy with it. But at the very least, we have the public student loan forgiveness program that exists, and it's a pretty much a great pathway to actually, you know, I guess, get rid of your debts if you really wanted to. It's 10 years, but it's worth it.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I've been seeing when I'm in all the different groups and talking to different people is kind of this conversation on, well, I had to pay my debts. And so, I don't understand why there would even be a conversation about forgiving. People should just pay back what they owe. And so, personally, as someone who has paid off all of my student loan debt, I have no resentment towards anyone that may get any type of forgiveness. None whatsoever. I think that the way student loans are calculated is extremely aggressive. And I think that ultimately it's a huge burden on people. It takes away from people's livelihoods, takes away from their future wealth building potentials. It's huge, huge, crippling thing that we can get under. So if there was some type of forgiveness, whether it's $10,000, which would impact so many people, or whether it's $5,000, whatever it may end up being, or if it's nothing at all, and we have to just continue going down the road. Like, I have no ill will as someone who has paid off their student loan debt, right? And I know Lawrence has gone through and he's doing the public student loan forgiveness program. And that's been one of the big pieces that's helped him also be able to refocus his money and help build tremendous wealth in a short period of time by kind of grit, resilience, all those other things. Lawrence, do you want to talk a little bit on that particular topic?
Yes. We could actually tackle student loans in two ways. We could do it the very aspirational way where we say that it could be forgiven for everybody. I don't think I want to take that away from everyone. However, we have to think about it in a very smart way. I think something you stated a couple seconds ago in regards to that. It's the basically the aggressive nature of the interest rates associated with student loans at 6%. That might be much. Maybe the government could actually reduce it to 3%, and that actually helps people. Ultimately, we still have to pay back this debt because we took it on, and I'm a big component of it because even if you forgive people that took out the debt, they haven't learned necessarily the money management skills needed in order to really maximize our wealth, and that's really the problem that we have to tackle. It's not the student loans, it's not the credit card debt. It's really trying to figure out how to better budget, manage our money and our time better in this society that we're living in now. And as such, we have the public student loans forgiveness program that exists for anybody that's in governments, well, in service industries themselves, either being government, being a teacher, being a firefighter, police officer, or any such those type of positions. Is an opportunity for you to put, I guess, pay down some of your debt. However, in the 10 years, after 120 payments to be exact, it'll be all forgiven. So there's still an opportunity for you to do so. And by paying off your debt, it won't be as bad as you think because you need to learn how to manage your money better. So I think there's a conversation there that we're missing. And we're just trying to skip ahead to the good parts.
I love that you focused in on kind of the money management and that process is lacking. And that's one of the things that within the group Facebook Money Flow Mentors or some of the things that we're doing on Instagram that we're really trying to start from that foundation. We want to have so many different conversations about money, about finance, about wealth building, and about fire. But it really does start with being able to manage your money effectively. And so, understanding how to budget, understanding how to allocate funds, understanding what sync funds are, how to put money into an emergency fund, and how to build the accountability needed to be successful, those are the underlying skills that you need to be successful. So I think that is a fantastic thought process, Lawrence, that we all should be really thoughtful of right now, especially where it's the beginning of the year. Everyone talks about starting a new habit, a new skill. Now is the time. It's January. There's plenty of time. Now is the time. There's always time. But now is the time to like dig in and get your budget in order. Understand if you have a surplus budget, a deficit budget, a balanced budget. Understand what you need to do to kind of allocate funds. Understand what your mission is when it comes to debt payoff, and what it comes to when it comes to wealth building. How, are you investing? Are you putting money towards your kids' education? What does that look like? There's
Yeah.
something that was kind of fun in the group, Lawrence, and I wanted to get your opinion. I saw you put your opinion in there, and it was a post. I promised you guys in Money Flow Mentors, we're going to talk about it tonight. It was a post in Facebook that I found another group. And so it was two different scenarios. And scenario one, just from a basic standpoint, scenario one had more assets but more debt. Scenario two had less assets but no debt. And so when I go into the group, quite a few people have voted at this point to say which scenario would they want, which scenario would they not want. And it's interesting to see where people's mindsets. It's like an even tie right now in that group as to which way to go, which way to
It's
go, right?
insanity.
And so
Insanity.
I have my thoughts on which one you would go with, and I want to hear Lawrence give me a quick breakdown on why he believes the scenario he believes is correct is correct.
Oh man, I don't recall all the details, but you do have to remember that both scenarios presented two different net worths. So it was, one was 200, I think it was 205,000 net worth. So there are types of people and how, I think really is a question that you see on social media today about fire versus maybe debt freedom journey. So that's really what you're looking at when you're seeing two people kind of click on, one the other. But ultimately, for me, it was about the net worth one because you have way more money. More money is better than less money. That's as simple as math as you can get. And on top of that, the person in option one or scenario one had probably over like $38,000 in checking and savings that they can actually use to pay down all their credit cards and all their auto loans, their credit cards, and their student loans. So all of that could have been tackled with the extra money that they have in their checking and savings almost immediately, and they still actually have a home to live in. The second scenario, they didn't even have a home or something. It was just nuts. So for me, it's very simple and easy math.
I love it, right? And so, yeah, scenario one, they had about $200,000 in debt and $375,000 net worth. They had a home that was worth 300,000, about 230 in retirement accounts, 30,000 in a checking account, and they're also saying their vehicle's worth about 15K. And then they have a mortgage, they have a car loan, student loan debt, and credit card debt. Like so many people, right? Very average.
Mm-hmm.
Scenario two has no debt and they have 100,000 net worth. They have 55,000 in their retirement account, 30,000 in their checking account, and they have a car worth 10K. And so when I looked at this scenario, I knew I didn't want to respond right away because I didn't want to just sway people. And so I was really curious where people's mindset is. And it's very clear. I think that not from a negative standpoint, but it's very clear what people's focuses is are when they look at this scenario. So very evenly it's split. Half of the group is looking at I want to be debt free. That's the thing that's crippling me. That's the thing that is most uncomfortable for me. And so I would sacrifice, you know, $300,000 to be debt free.
Mm-hmm.
And on the flip side, the other half of the group is like, no, no, no. I see that there's enough money in there that I could just pay off this debt, no problem, still have like 5 or 6K left over, and then I just have to worry about my mortgage. So it comes down to mindset. There's some inaccuracies in here. And I'll put a better post out there and talk about it on the actual post. There's some inaccuracies out there, some pieces that are incorrect. So I wanted to make sure we highlight that too. But in essence, the scenario that I would choose is scenario one. Okay, so personally, I would choose scenario one, and this is coming from someone who has no consumer debt, except for my mortgage. I do have a mortgage, so I have no consumer debt. But even with that mindset, and even with my mindset, because I'm young and debt free, freedom enables me to put so much more money towards wealth building now, towards investing now, towards putting money into my kids' 529 plans, and so on. Like it frees up so much. Even I look at this and say, no, no, no. Scenario one's the right place to be. Okay, and so we have to stop thinking about money in just basic terms. We have to dig a little tiny bit deeper and think about what it means long term. So if you have 230,000 in retirement accounts, how much does that actually yield per year? How does the
Yep.
compound interest work on that? If you're 35 years old with 230,000 in a retirement account, you'll be a millionaire very soon. right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the extra piece that we have to start putting in and start thinking about is it's not just a straightforward path. I wish it was. It makes it easier if it is, right? It makes it easier if it's just like follow these 4 steps and then you're done. But it's not. Everyone's situation's a little bit nuanced. Everyone's opportunities are a little bit different, and we have to look at things holistically. And so these type of conversations are awesome in helping us do that. And I highly recommend that if someone else comes across some of those posts like that, where there's questions like scenario one, scenario two, that they include them in the group. And I'm going to start doing them too because it makes us think a little bit more. It makes us dig a little bit more. So ultimately, I hope that this part helped. I hope that it kind of broadened your thought process a little bit and had you start thinking about different things. And like I said, I am all about debt freedom. I'm all about not having debt. I think that debt can be quite crippling. But then there's also opportunities where, like, you have a mortgage. That is debt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or perhaps you buy a rental property, but you rent out your rental property and it's paying for itself. That's a different thing, and you're building an asset. So it's nuance. There's more to it than just I don't want to ever pay anyone anything ever again.
Yeah, because that's not the real path towards long term wealth. I think we do have to push people a little bit more, a little bit further than just doing the easy stuff, because that's the easy stuff got us to where we are now. When everybody's actually carrying what over $200,000 on of debt itself, not just student loan, not just credit card, but also a home, where people are carrying and have no idea exactly how they got there. That's a problem. So it's an opportunity for us to have a broader based conversation about this topic and really show people that your money can grow over time and even faster than you can actually pay down your debt. That is an exponential growth. Paying down your debt is a linear growth. It's basically like you're paying it down in a linear line going downwards, but exponential growth means that you're going upwards dramatically over time. And that's what my net worth has been doing. Even in 2020, my net worth went up $200,000, and majority of that is just growth in the market. That's really what it was. And that's just, and even though at the end of the day we still have what because we're doing renovations, we have $20,000 worth of credit card debt. At the end of the day, our money is also growing, so we're paying stuff down, but we're also having our money invested so it can actually move a lot faster for us and with us as well.
So, Lawrence, it's interesting we talk about investing and the power of investing, the power of compound interest, the power of being in the market. And I saw your post about your portfolio grew 200 and I think it was 13,000 or something to that effect, over $200,000.
Hmm.
Incredible, right? And that's what having a different mindset can enable to happen. Now, one of the things I posted in Money Flow Mentors this week, Instagram, and I think, you know, Twitter, all the places, was we had a conversation about women and investing. And so women hold on to cash much more than men do and are more uncomfortable when it comes to investing. Statistically, if you go back to my post, you'll see the actual statistics, but I wanted to bring it up here because now we're in this kind of conversation and I want to just put it out there that if you're uncomfortable and if you don't know how, there are so many resources to help you learn. So many resources. So don't let the fear of not knowing hold you back from your potential, hold you back from your potential earnings. Because what's happening is by not learning, by not educating yourself, by not trying to take those leaps, you're taking away from your future potential. You're taking away from your future retirement, you're taking away from your the generational legacy that you're going to be leaving, you're taking away from future generations. So it's like don't let not knowing be the crutch that you hold on to, right? Just like with a budget, don't let not doing a budget or understanding where your money's going or being at the end of the month and saying I don't know what happened, I don't know how I got here, don't let that
Hmm.
hold you back. It's time to learn, it's time to change. It's time to take
Yeah,
accountability. It's time to take the steps you need to take to transform your life. The resources are out there. The people are out there. People want to help, right? There's tons of resources, tons of things, tons of education, and so on. And so It's about taking the steps to help make that transformation. Before I leave you, I want to just go back to Lawrence. Lawrence, do you have any further thoughts on this topic as we end our tea time together?
I would say, yeah, this is fundamental, especially for a lot of ladies or whoever is really dealing with not understanding how money moves in the market. Taking the first step is the hardest. It's going to be the hardest. It's gonna basically be like that moment where you're gonna press the button, but you never quite do it because it's the hardest step you're gonna have to make. But once you start making it, I guarantee you, your money will continue to grow, and you'll be better off for it. Just like Arcade just stated, every time that you save money at less than 1%, you're already losing it through price inflation. That's a whole other problem that's happening. So you're losing money while you saving, just sitting on the cash at home versus having the opportunity to really grow and move that cash, especially in a time where information is democratized. A lot of these resources are free. YouTube is replete. What I mean is filled with people providing you content weekly about investing. Nobody's trying to say jump into the deep end, but you can even touch a little bit of investment. Touch a little bit of index funds or something like that. At least get yourself familiar so that your money grows more than it just sits there. So we're all behind you. We all been there. We all have made the same mistakes, and it's up for all of us to actually move forward.
Very, very wise words. I think it's so true. Every person that I've met or had conversations with about money, no matter where they are on their path, they've all made mistakes on their path. No one has been perfect or infallible or hasn't, had to take side steps or pivots. Everybody's had to learn in some granular level all the way through. I've had to learn, right? Lawrence has had to learn. We've all had to learn. And so I hope that this conversation is kind of the catalyst that helps invigorate you to say that you are worth it and that you're going to take that next step to learn how to build the life that you truly aspire to, right? That you understand that anything is possible and that you and your family can live a different type of life, not paycheck to paycheck or trying to understand where money's going, that you can control your destiny. And so, with that, I hope everyone has a wonderful night. If you're not part of Money Flow Mentors on Facebook, please join. We'd love to have you be part of the conversation. We post all of our content there and we go live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. If you're watching this on YouTube, please